The nightclub lights were blinding, the music so loud it made the ground shake. All eyes turned when the superstar himself, Denzel Blaze, the city's most adored musician, walked in with a woman on his arm. Cameras flashed, fans screamed, but the woman wasn't the longtime girlfriend everyone knew from magazines. No, this was Ifeoma, the rising fashion designer who had no idea she was about to be branded the other woman. By morning, her face was everywhere: blogs, gossip sites, Twitter trends, side chick steals superstar. But Ifeoma knew the truth. She hadn't stolen anybody. She had been deceived, and she was about to fight back in a way that would shake the entire city. The city of Lagos never sleeps. Billboards of flashy musicians and politicians glowed above crowded streets. Danfos hummed impatiently, and in the heart of Victoria Island sat a small but trendy fashion studio called Ifeoma Designs. Inside, Ifeoma sat bent over a sewing machine, the blending with Afrobeats playing from her phone. She was only 26, but already whispers about her creativity were spreading in the fashion scene. Celebrities have started to notice her unique styles: classy, daring, but proudly African. Her assistant Chidera rushed in, excitement in her eyes. Ifeoma, you won't believe this. Denzel Blaze manager just called. They want you to design his outfit for his upcoming music video. Ifeoma froze. Denzel Blaze, the Afrobeat superstar with millions of fans, known for his voice, his swagger, and his scandals. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. But Ifeoma laughed nervously. Stop joking, Dara. Stop joking, Dara. Me? For Denzel Blaze? It's not a joke, Chidera insisted. They saw your Instagram post, the one with Ankara suit, and they want you. Ifeoma's heart raised. This was it, a big break. She had no idea that the phone call was the beginning of a storm that would shake her life and her reputation. 2 days later, she arrived at a luxurious studio in Lekki. Her sketches neatly packed, security men stood at the gate, and flashy cars lined the compound. Inside, the hair reeked of money and fame. And then she saw him, Denzel Blaze, in the flesh, tall, dark-skinned, with his signature gold chain catching the light. He looked at her as though the room had gone silent. You're Ifeoma, right? His smile was dazzling. I've been hearing about you. You've got talent. Ifeoma tried to remain professional, but her ears trembled slightly. They went through her sketches, and to her shock, Denzel seemed genuinely impressed. These are fine, he said, nodding. You're the kind of creative I need around me, not just for the video, but maybe more. The way he held her gaze lingered longer than necessary. Ifeoma felt a flutter of excitement and warning. Over the next few weeks, Ifeoma designed outfits, attended fittings, and soon found herself spending more time around Denzel. He was charming, generous, and surprisingly attentive. Unlike the arrogant celebrity she had expected, he spoke to her like an equal. One evening, after rehearsal, he leaned close and said, Ifeoma, I know I should keep this professional, but I can't lie. You're different. I want you in my life, not just in my videos. Ifeoma's heart pounded. She had grown up watching men chase women with empty promises, and she always swore she wouldn't fall for sweet words. But there was something about Denzel, the way he looked at her, the way he seemed to value her work, that made her doubt her own instincts. Still, a nagging voice in her head whispered, Careful, men like this don't come without secrets. The studio buzzed with energy. Backup dancers rehearsed, directors shouted instructions, and the cameramen adjusted their lights. In the middle of it all, Ifeoma stood with her tape measure draped around her neck, adjusting the hem of Denzel's glittering jacket. He leaned closer than necessary. You know, Ifeoma, he said, his voice low. I could take you places. Paris, New York, London, all the red carpet. People don't just wear my music, they live it. You should leave it with me. Ifeoma swallowed hard, her hands trembling slightly on the fabric. His words were heavy with promise, but also with danger. She forced a smile, retreating a step. Let's just focus on the outfit for now, Blaze. His grin widened. I like that. A woman who resists makes the chase worth it. Her assistant, Chidera, who had been pretending to organize a rack of clothes, shot Ifeoma a worried glance. Later, when Denzel walked off, she whispered, Ifeoma, be careful. He is trouble. You know he's always in the blogs with different women. Ifeoma shook her head, trying to brush it off. People talk, and besides, this is just business. But deep down, her pulse didn't agree. A week later, Ifeoma was invited to a private dinner at a rooftop lounge in Ikoyi. Business. Denzel's manager had said she expected to meet the video producers, maybe sponsors. Instead, she arrived to find only Denzel waiting, dressed sharp, city lights glittering behind him. Where is everyone else? She asked, frowning. They couldn't make it, he said smoothly, pulling out a chair for her. But that's fine. This is better. Just us. The waiter poured wine, and as the night went on, Denzel told her about his childhood struggles, his rise from nothing, his dreams beyond music. His vulnerability was disarming. For the first time, Ifeoma thought maybe, just maybe, the rumors were wrong. Then, as she reached for her bag to leave, a notification popped on her phone. Trending. Who is Denzel Blaze's mystery date? A blurry photo of her entering the lounge was already spreading online. Her blood ran cold. Denzel, who took this picture? He smirked. That is the price of being with me. The world is always watching. But Ifeoma noticed something chilling. The photo wasn't from a distance. It was taken from inside the lounge, close by, almost like it was arranged. The next morning, her studio phone wouldn't stop ringing. Some calls were from potential clients, others from gossip bloggers demanding a comment. Her Instagram followers had doubled overnight, but so had the insults. Side chick alert. Another girl about to be dumped. She is desperate for fame. Chidera slammed her laptop shut. This isn't good, Ifeoma. You need to clear the hair. But Ifeoma felt torn. If she denied it, Denzel could make her look like a liar. If she confirmed it, she would be boxed in as just another conquest. That evening, as she sat staring at her phone, an unknown number flashed on her screen. Against her better judgment, she answered. A female voice, low and steady, said, You don't know me, but you need to. My name is Amaka, and if you are smart, you will start seeing Denzel before you destroy your life. Ask him about me and about what he did last year. The line went dead. Ifeoma sat frozen, her heart pounding in her chest. Who was Amaka? What happened last year? And why did she sound so broken? The next day, Ifeoma confronted Denzel casually during a costume fitting. Blaze, she said, pretending to check the seams of his shirt. Do you know someone named Amaka? For the first time since she met him, his smile faltered just for a second, but she caught it. Amaka. He chuckled quickly. That name doesn't ring a bell. Why? Oh, nothing, she said lightly. Someone just mentioned it. But in her chest, alarms blared. The flicker in his eyes had betrayed him. He was lying. Hotel scandal. That night, unable to sleep, Ifeoma scrolled through gossip blogs and old posts about Denzel. Buried between flashy headlines and performance photos, she found it. Music star caught in hotel scandal. Mystery lady refuses to speak. The article was a year old. The woman's face blurred out. Only a single initial was mentioned. A. Ifeoma's stomach twisted. Amaka. Just then, a DM popped into her Instagram inbox. I warned you. If you want proof, meet me tomorrow, 6 p.m., Freedom Park. The sender's name, Amaka. At 6 p.m. sharp, Ifeoma arrived at Freedom Park, blending into the crowd. She wore sunglasses, hoping not to attract attention. A woman in a simple black gown approached, mid-30s, eyes weary, voice low. You're Ifeoma? Yes, Amaka. Amaka nodded. I was you once, fresh, talented, fooled by his promises. He said he would make me his queen. Instead, he used me. And when I refused to be hidden as his other woman, he ruined my career. She pulled out her phone and slid it across to Ifeoma. On the screen were pictures, grainy but clear enough. Amaka and Denzel together at events, then screenshots of threatening messages. Stay quiet or you will regret it. Ifeoma's hands shook. Why are you showing me this? Because I see myself in you, Amaka whispered. And because Denzel doesn't just want you for love, Ifeoma. He wants to use you for his image. He knows your designs are gaining attention. He wants your talent tied to his name. So when he discards you, your shine dies with his shadow. Before Ifeoma could respond, Amaka's eyes darted behind her. They shouldn't be seen together. They are watching me. She disappeared into the crowd, leaving Ifeoma trembling, phone heavy in her hand, her world tilting. The very next day, Denzel called her. His voice was unusually urgent. Ifeoma, listen, I need you to be my date to the award show tomorrow. It is big for my image. People love you already. It will be perfect. Say yes. Her throat went dry. She thought of Amaka's warning or the threat of the blood photos. But before she could respond, Denzel added, and Ifeoma, don't listen to everything you hear. People get jealous. They will do anything to break what we have. Trust me. His tone was smooth, but underneath there was still almost a warning. Ifeoma ended the call, her mind torn. If she said yes, she would be stepping into the fire. If she said no, she might make an enemy she couldn't fight. That night, Ifeoma sat alone in her studio, the hum of the city outside her window. Her phone buzzed non-stop. Texts from Denzel, notifications from blogs, even calls from unknown numbers. Chidera came in, worry etched on her face. Ifeoma, this is dangerous. If you refuse him publicly, it could ruin you. But if you accept, you will be branded his sidekick forever. Ifeoma exhaled slowly. Then, I need another option, something he won't see coming. She opened her laptop and searched for a name she never thought she would type, Amaka. The next afternoon, Ifeoma found herself in a small cafe in Surulere, sitting across from Amaka. Unlike the broken woman she met at Freedom Park, today Amaka's eyes burnt with something different, anger, maybe even revenge. What if I told you, Ifeoma said carefully, that I plan to say yes to Denzel's award show invitation? Amaka's brows shot up. You want to walk into the lion's den? Yes, Ifeoma replied firmly, but not blindly. I will play along, let him think he has me, and then I will strike. You said he destroyed your career. Maybe this time we turn the tables. Amaka leaned back, studying her. Slowly, a bitter smile tugged at her lips. You're braver than I was. I wanted to hide. You want to fight. They exchanged phones, files, proof. Amaka showed her a folder full of evidence. Contract Denzel broke. Women silenced. Journalists paid off. Ifeoma copied everything onto a flash drive. For the first time, Amaka's voice softened. If you really go through with this, you won't just be saving yourself, you will be saving the next girl after you. Back at her studio, Ifeoma rehearsed her role. She picked out a stunning gown, gold, sleek, with bold Ankara embroidery that screamed elegance and power. If she was going to walk into Denzel's world, she wouldn't look like prey, she would look like a queen. But behind the glamour, she prepared a counter move, a small recorder hidden inside her clutch. The flash drive of Amaka's evidence tucked safely in her assistant's hands, a journalist friend, secretly informed to watch the award show closely. By midnight, she looked at her reflection in the mirror and whispered to herself, "If you want a game, I will give him one, but I won't be the other woman, not this time." The night before the award show, Ifeoma was in her studio finishing the last stitches on her gown when a loud knock shook the door. Chidera jumped. "Who is that at this hour?" The nurse grew harsher, impatient. Ifeoma hesitated, then opened the door a crack. Two bulky men in dark suits pushed their way in. Their faces were blank, their movements deliberate. One of them spoke in a low, chilling voice. "Miss Ifeoma, a word of advice. Tomorrow night you will smile, hold his hand and say nothing. That's all. Otherwise," he tapped the sewing table with his knuckles hard, leaving silence behind the sound. Then they walked out as quickly as they came. Chidera's voice trembled. "Ifeoma, they know you are planning something." Ifeoma's mind spun. How? Did Amaka betray me? Or is someone else watching me? Minutes later, her phone buzzed, an unknown number again. This time, she picked it up instantly. You shouldn't have met her. Denzel's smooth voice oozed through the line. "Do you think Lagos is that big? I know everything. Amaka is a bitter ghost. Don't let her drag you into her misery. Tomorrow, stand beside me and I will make you untouchable. Cross me and you will disappear like she did." The line went dead for a long moment. Ifeoma couldn't breathe. The game was more dangerous than she thought. That night, she tossed and turned. Was she walking into a trap too big for her? Was Amaka really an ally or was she bait? Her phone pinged again, this time with a single text from Amaka. "Don't lose your nerve. Trust me, he is bluffing. Tomorrow is your moment." But the message only deepened her fear. How did Amaka know about the confrontation in her studio? Unless someone close was feeding her information. Ifeoma stared at Chidera, who had fallen asleep on the couch. Doubt pricked her chest. Could she even trust her own assistant? By dawn, Lagos traffic was already building outside, horns blaring in the distance. Ifeoma stood at the window. The city spread before her like a restless ocean. She had two choices: pull out of the award show and save herself immediate trouble, but lose everything she had built, or step into the lion's den, risk her career and life, and gamble on exposing Denzel. Her reflection in the glass looked tired but unbroken. She whispered to herself, "He wants fear, I will give him fire instead." The Eko Convention Centre shimmered that night. The red carpet stretching like a river of fire, cameras flashed non-stop, fans screamed behind barricades, and journalists shoved microphones at every celebrity that passed. A sleek black SUV pulled up. The door opened. Out stepped Ifeoma, her golden gown hugged her frame, Ankara embroidery glowing under the camera flashes. Gasps rippled across the crowd. Reporters craned their necks, whispers spreading like wildfire. "That's her, the mystery girl. Denzel's side chick. No, look at her. She doesn't look like a side anything." Then Denzel emerged, dazzling in one of her custom suits. He slid his hand around her waist, smiling wide for the cameras. "Smile," he whispered through clenched teeth. Remember what we discussed. Ifeoma forced her lips into a perfect curve, but her clutch bag felt heavy in her hand. The recorder inside silently running. As they walked, questions flew like arrows. Denzel, who is she? Are you too official now? Ifeoma, how does it feel to be the star's new woman? Denzel laughed smoothly, tightening his grip on her waist. She is special. You will be seeing a lot of her. The words made the crowd roar, but Ifeoma's stomach churned. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw flashing lights, journalists snapping photos, not just of Denzel, but of her. This wasn't about him alone. They were dragging her into his circus. And then she caught sight of a figure at the far end of the carpet, a woman in black, sunglasses on despite the night. Amaka. Her face was unreadable, but when their eyes met, she gave the faintest nod, then melted back into the crowd. Inside the hall was a glittering sea of celebrities. Music pounded, screens flashed, and what gleamed on stage. Ifeoma and Denzel were ushered to the front row, cameras lingering on them. But Ifeoma noticed something strange. Every time she tried to glance at Amaka's direction, she couldn't find her, almost as if she had vanished. Relax, Denzel whispered, draping an arm across her shoulders. You look tense. She smiled tightly, but inside her heart raced. Then the host's voice boomed. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Denzel Blaze. They all erupted in cheers. Denzel rose, kissed her hand dramatically for the cameras, and strode up. But as he began his acceptance speech, Ifeoma's clutch burst. A test. He will try to call you on stage. Don't go. Wait for the moment. Amaka. Her palms grew sweaty. Was Amaka guiding her or setting her up? Denzel's speech rolled on, smooth and glittering, dripping with false humility. And lastly, I want to dedicate this award to someone special. She's right here tonight, the woman who inspires me. He turned, pointing straight at Ifeoma. Come up here, baby. They all erupted in cheers, phones shut up, all eyes zeroed in on her. Ifeoma froze. Amaka's warning text echoed in her head. Don't go. But the cameras were on her. Refusal would make headlines. Slowly, she rose, her gown sweeping like molten gold, her face calm, but her pulse hammering. On stage, Denzel slid an arm around her waist, lifting the mic. She's not just beautiful, she's my future. You will be seeing our wedding invites soon. The crowd screamed. Flash bulbs popped, but Ifeoma only smiled sweetly, then leaned toward his mic. Funny, she said softly. I thought you would mention the women you left broken behind you, or the promises you never kept. A ripple of gasp swept the hall. Denzel's smile faltered. Before he could react, Ifeoma raised her clutch. Ladies and gentlemen, I came here tonight with something important, the truth. She tapped her clutch, hidden inside. A recorder was synced to her phone, and just like that, Denzel's voice blasted through the speakers. We will use her for PR, make her famous, then drop her. The media will eat it up. The hall went dead silent. Shouts erupted. Cameras swung widely. Denzel longed for his clutch. Listen, what have you done? But before he could snatch it, security swarmed. Amaka at the lead. She pulled off her sunglasses, badge flashing. EFCC, Denzel Blaze, you are under investigation for fraud and exploitation. They all exploded in chaos. Reporters screened questions. Denzel struggled, shouting, but cameras caught everything. His fall, his shame. Hours later, the glimpse was gone. Ifeoma sat in Amaka's car, shoes off, dress crumpled. She stared out at Lagos lights, her chest still tight with adrenaline. You planned this all along, she murmured. Amaka smirked, hands steady on the wheel. You just had to trust the timing. You wanted revenge. I wanted justice. Tonight, we both got what we came for. Ifeoma let out a shaky laugh. And tomorrow? Tomorrow, Amaka said, the headlines will crown you, not him. The next morning, Lagos woke to front page news. Star exposed live. Mystery woman brings down Denzel Blaze. And in the photo, Ifeoma wasn't a sidekick or a victim or a shadow. She stood tall, chin raised, the woman who flipped the script in a city built on pretense.